Mhm. You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Whoa. Greetings. Welcome everyone to the Pan African Daily TV this afternoon, this morning, this night, wherever you're watching us. As you can see, our beautiful guest is already comfortable sitting there. And somewhere on the continent, which we're going to discover tonight, a very special guest. And it's the first time that we're having a guest from this beautiful city and country in Africa. Okay. So tonight like I announced yesterday, we have a lot of things to talk about. We are going to be discovering most of the things that Africans, particularly women, young women, are doing on the continent, and no one is reporting about it. We're going to be sharing some very incredible stories and images. Some of those images that you thought, when you see them, you like they are in New York City school, or doing, or they're in the UK, or they are in even in China. Some of those images that no one would ever share with you. So tonight, this queen is here. All right. She is here. She's the queen doing what nobody could imagine. Some of those things that we always think, you see these kind of images, you would never see them in any magazine. You would never see them on any media. You would never see them anywhere. They hide these ones, right? Because the ones that they cook in their pots and share it out here with us, at a time that, when you see them, they start discouraging our people in the diaspora. They even discourage you. You look at some of those images, you're just like, this is me? Nah. You cannot accept that at all. So yes, changing the narratives is all what we're about today. I want to welcome all of you that are joining from the continent, from the diaspora, and wherever you are connecting. Tonight we have a sister from Botswana. Botswana, as you all know, I just love the name. When you call it Botswana, I remember Zambezi, and you remember the Kalahari Desert, and then you remember the mountains, and sometimes you're like, wow, Zambezi. The name is so cool. Botswana is a small, beautiful, I think one of the most beautiful countries on the continent of Africa, with approximately 3 million inhabitants. If I'm wrong, this queen here is going to correct me, even though they give us statistics like 1.3 2.3 million. And you know what, I always say, anything the right there, just double 500 or 1,000, you're gonna get the correction, the right figures for yourself. So Botswana is a beautiful country, and you know what, they used to say is the poorest of the poorest countries on the continent. I mean, that was before. And this group of, like I said, the indigenous of the Bantu speakers, and who migrated to this beautiful spot out there. All of them Bantus, as you all know, until the same colonialists, the British this time, because it's always them or France or Germany itself, right? It had to colonize them, as they always did, or they did to all of us. And each time they did this, we went back to poorest. But when they came, they didn't say anything like how we were living, how our economies were booming, or anything. But later on, they would just tell you, oh no, this was the poorest of poorest, like in the case of Botswana. But today, you would be amazed, you'll be surprised. It's not just a middle income, fastest growing economy. It is a middle upper income, middle upper income. I don't even know why they say middle upper. It is the fastest growing, richest country on the continent. Okay. You are in Namibia, in Botswana. It's as if you are, and I can't even compare it with Europe here because some European villages are just not even civilized. And what to even call it, Botswana? To be honest with you, you're going to see some of these pictures of this kid that our Queen Sally Kimangu is working with them. You're like, what? No, they're not in Africa, they're from somewhere else, right? So yes, I will leave her to tell us to educate us about the Botswana story, not just the Botswana story, but her incredible engagement, her work. And you see her smiling like that, as if she can't even. But this queen here, I already told you, it's a power woman, a superpower woman of Africa. And like Dr. Mata said, the youngest and the richest billionaires just in a short while are going to be African women worldwide, going to be Black women, whether the world likes it or not. The youngest and smartest billionaires are going to come from the continent of Africa. And I begin to see that most of them are already coming from Botswana, as I can see the work that she's doing. So I want to thank you so very much. I just want to relax, pull back, because I want to learn a lot about Botswana itself. So, my queen, Kimangu, first of all, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this conversation to tell us about Botswana. But first, I also want to apologize because I spelled your name wrongly. I said Kumangu. No, it is Kimangu. Thank you for that correction. And so, if any of you would want to write her name here, it's about Kim, not Kum. Okay. So, your family is connected here. They're so willing to hear your works. They're so willing to greet you for the first time here. They're so willing. It's not a he. It's not a he. It's a she. It's a she. I see somebody like, who's he? It's a she. Yes, so the Shiro of our today is Sally Kimangu from Botswana. I don't know whether she was born in Botswana or she just was there because we know Botswana is surrounded by Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Namibia, I guess. Those are the neighboring countries. So she could have come from any of these countries and settled in Botswana. But she's going to be telling us this story. I want you to get set and get your waters, drain your water, and let's mind our African business. As we start up this conversation, it's going to be a lengthy one, simple one. So what do you want to do? You want to throw some questions in the chat box so that she can respond to them. Please go ahead and do it. If you think you just want to hear her beautiful voice and you want to call, you can also call on our WhatsApp number. You know it already. And you can ask some questions in the studio. We're not going to take more. We're just going to take very few. Okay. But I prefer we do like we did yesterday. Just drop the questions and we bring it up to her. So, but right now we want to sit back and learn first before we start asking questions. All right. So, good evening, my queen. Welcome. Welcome again. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Susan. And hello, hello to your awesome viewers. Your job is incredible. Taking Africa out there and telling the world that it's no longer a dark continent speaks volumes. I looked at your work, I looked at comments from your followers, and I felt, yeah, it's about time. I interact with a lot of people coming to Africa, trying to establish how to do trade. And it's sort of absurd when you get to realize people know so little about Africa. They have no clue how awesome this continent is, and more especially my beautiful country, Botswana. It's a very young country, great governance. We could be the third biggest beef exporters in the world,
Mhm.
and I suppose we lead with diamonds. They actually say literally almost everywhere you walk on the soil of Botswana, it's covered. You're walking on diamonds. But then the success story is we've managed to mine, process our diamonds, and grow our country extremely fast.
Mhm.
Botswana is 52, about 55 years old, a very young country. But within those 50 plus years, the country has done extremely well. So just like you said it very well, yes, we. I can relate. I have traveled across the world, and some countries I get to, and infrastructure, governance, quality of life for people, it could be more or less like what we have in Botswana, or even much better what we have in Botswana. So obviously, we enjoy our rich culture. You said it well. The original inhabitants, Bantus. It is right next to Namibia. The longest, I think our longest border covers South Africa.
Mhm.
So almost every corner of Botswana you get into, you right by South Africa side. Then so we have Namibia, then we have South Africa, then we have Zimbabwe. We also have among the seven wonders of the world being in Botswana, that is the Delta. So you need to fly in and see the Delta. So along the Delta, that is where Angola meets Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So this kind of a little island that's shared by five countries, which is magnificent to view. And then we obviously have our pride, Victoria Falls. And why am I not talking about our elephants? I think we have the biggest population of elephants in the world. And being a big fan of wildlife and having traveled widely in Africa, I called, okay, elephants are my spirit animals, but
Mhm.
it's still weird for me to say that elephants in Botswana are different. It's kind of, they have a soul of it of their own. I don't know if anyone can attest to that. Like any elephant you meet, just like humans, it's different from the other. The feeling is different. When I go to South Africa and meet the elephants there, Kenya, Tanzania. So we actually have a place called Kasane where we have most of the elephants. That's the northern side of Botswana.
Mhm.
It's a little bit far from where I live. I'm right in the city, Gaborone. So it's 1,000 kilometers to get there. And for me, that is kind of my escape, my retreat. Every time I feel like I want to unwind, when people like going to Thailand and other places, I escape in Kasane.
Mm.
So that's my brief intro of my lovely country, Botswana. However, I
Oh,
have many places I call home.
I wanted to say,
I have many
did
places I
you,
call home. Mhm.
what did you eat today? Like, what is it that is common in terms of food,
Thank you.
music?
Good question. So we have, yes, so we have a lot of beef, and our beef is extremely special
Mm.
because our animals just graze. We don't like buy them food or something like that. The land
Mhm.
is vast, the country is very big, and animals are very much taken care of. That is, beef farming is big.
Mhm.
So you find the kind of meat you eat in Botswana, I could actually call it extremely organic. So our beef is very special. And then we obviously have a lot of people that specialize, or they just have the natural skills or the instinct of doing that beef. So our favorite, or maybe what's very common and what we all love as Botswana, is it's called siswa. So siswa is powdered beef.
Mhm.
Siswa, it's powdered
Mm.
beef. So it takes long. You can boil it like all night. You cook it with firewood. You boil it
Mhm.
all night, and and then you pound it in the morning. So when it boils all night in the morning, you get the bone getting out of the beef. It is
Mhm.
the most delicious meal.
Hey.
Then, of course, We eat worms. So we have what you call pani worms, and we have lots of different types of vegetables. Then we eat sorghum
Mm-hmm.
and maize meal, like most African countries. Yeah.
Oh, I just feel like flying to go and eat siwa. Yes.
It's
You
called siswa.
Siswa, Siswa. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Kimango, we're going to be doing a lot of sessions with you, particularly how to cook the Siswa and other things in terms of food and culture and tourism, because I know one of the biggest industry that you do have in in Botswana is tourism. Why do you think
Yes.
you want to tell people, you want to tell our brothers that are coming home and sisters from the diaspora to come to Botswana? Why must they come to Botswana? Why should they come
It's
home?
as you know, it's yes, a very good question. Botswana government has made it extremely easy and reasonable for people to do trade in Botswana.
Mhm,
So the rule of law is very much respected. There's a lot of support you get by doing business in Botswana. They
mhm,
make access to funding
mhm,
easy, and there's a lot of mentorship that goes on for youth to ensure that they secure opportunities, be it in
mhm,
getting jobs, be it in getting education. So I think that comes along a lot from the country has been largely run by very level headed, if I may say that, presidents. We've been very, very lucky. We've had presidents with people's interest at heart.
mhm.
So, yeah, so youth and women are very much taken care of.
It's very so true. But before I move on, I just want to. There's a question here that a sister is asking. When do you eat the beef with fufu? I think that's what you call sogom, isn't it?
I like
Mhm,
that. Yes, we don't really have fufu. Okay, but fufu, yeah, yeah, I think it's just a different word. It's sorghum. Yes, we eat beef with fufu, which is, I think fufu is the same as, fufu is made of cassava, right?
cassava, maize, cocoyams, yams. I mean, it's just like this
Yeah,
hard porridge, like ugali. We call it in Kenya.
exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Mhm.
And there's a question here. Do you have to be a citizen to do business in Botswana?
No, you don't have to. We have what we call offshore investors,
Mm-hmm.
and they also make it well, quite friendly and easy for people to relocate and do business in Botswana. So you don't have to be a citizen for you to do business in Botswana.
All right, but we are here not just with business people. Of course, it's very interesting to know that, diaspora is trading back and is connecting back to the continent, and they just want to come home to build infrastructures, to develop their homeland and become a part of the long, disconnection that we've been having about it. Do you know anything about into immigrations, like when the diaspora comes back and just say, like me, I just want to move to Botswana? Do I need to go through some hurdles, or if I just come with my U.S. Citizen passport, what are the conditions favorable for me? Like,
Obviously, like every other country, you have to respect the rule, the law of the land. They've put measures in place. They have very friendly websites that you can
mhm,
search on and get information. Botswana is one of the countries that the citizen can go to more than 70 countries with the same passport without applying for visas. So
mhm,
they extend the same to a lot of people that are coming into the country. So you
mhm,
find, depends on which part of the world you're coming from, but some, like a lot of African countries, you don't need a visa to come to Botswana,
mhm,
and you have 90 days, 90 or 6 months, something like that, stay
Mm-hmm.
without that's you don't need to have permits or anything for you to stay. But again, I'm not really sure about if you're coming from America, from you. Depends, but a lot of the countries you find you get visa on arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. I do know that even most of the beef that is eaten out here is from Botswana, and I see Brother Stephen also saying it, that they love our beef because of the grazing, and it's a non-GMO, kind of stuff,
Mhm.
non-genetically modified, and we like that, and we
Yes.
appreciate and hope that you're gonna keep it. Good. We have a very interesting conversation. That was just knowing Botswana, but we want to go into the details of why you are here today. And I just want to seize this opportunity to ask the viewers, or to remind them, if you're first time here, you know that we're having the One Africa Conference this weekend in Detroit, Michigan. For those of you who are still asking questions, please, if you have a question on that, make sure you drop it in the comment, and we'll be bringing it live to you. So our conversation actually today is because you see Queen Sally here. Kimangu is doing a very incredible job working with children in the rural areas, as also in the urban area. You see, the problem with Botswana that I realize, my queen, is there's actually like no rural areas like the kind of ones that I was expecting to see. When I looked at the pictures of the kids that you work with, I like, are these village kids? Tell me more.
Okay, good question. Botswana, among a few other African countries, with its great governance and having the interests of their citizen at heart, has offers free education to the
Mm-hmm,
citizens. So you will find you can't tell, it could be a little bit difficult for you to tell the difference between a child who goes to a government school and a child who goes to a private school.
mm-hmm.
Children are given food in school, they're given books, they're given good, very well qualified and trained teachers. Schools have libraries. Some schools have
We're having some interruption with the internet on her part, but I was just trying to load some of those images that she sent earlier on, so we can take a look at them, and the projects which she's doing out there. And also from my side, I don't know why the images cannot load. No idea. She can hear us. She's freezing and she's out. I think some of the images came up, and I'm still trying to see if I could. I would struggle to load some of them here. So you can see she's a scientist, as a matter of fact, and she does a programming, actually what we call today as artificial intelligence, um, with kids from the ages of 5. I don't know why is it not loading. Everything was already set here. And now I can see it. All right. Okay. Can you hear?
yes, I can.
All right. Beautiful. Yes, go ahead. You were saying something about the education.
Yes. So the education system in Botswana, it's free. So that's where you find the children you see. It can be a little bit difficult to distinguish a child who goes to a private school and a child who goes to a government school.
Mhm,
They're extremely well taken care of by the government.
mhm. Do they have like free education for all?
Yes, it is free education for all. It is free education for all, and that is from preschool up to high school.
Mm-hmm.
University students, they get a government loan.
Mm-hmm.
And the country has been taking a lot of their scholars, not just to local universities, but abroad as well.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just okay. Our images are loaded, so you can see some of those images. These are children that are learning from I'll just flip the images before we lost them, so you can take a look at. These are the kind of pictures that no one would ever show you in the world about our African children that are actually doing well. We're not also saying that the ones in Soweto or the ones in Cameroon or the ones in Kenya in the villages are not like this, but why do they show just the one-sided, right? So yes, these are kids from the ages of 3 to 5 that are actually working. Look at this cutie. I don't even think this one is 2 years old if you look at him, but he's already building a robot, and they can construct what they want. And it's so difficult. Why is the world so malicious? Why? We never would see such. Even if we saw this, we would not be believing that this is Africa. Why? Why the damage? Why the hate? Why the intentions? Why the bad, toxic intentions? These are children that are learning to solve problems through artificial intelligence method. And I just want to show them before we'll get back to studio, and she'll be explaining to us what this project is all about. And you see, they develop their own robots. They just a lot of them. I couldn't load it here because of this, because of this system here. When I take it off, yeah. But you can already have a feeling. And that's why I was saying, if you look at them, look at how clean, good their hairs, their uniforms. You're like, no, these are not the ones that they show you on CNN, on BBC, on Deutsche Welle or whatever. This no one would show you this. They're gonna hide it and begin to say, no, babies, they need food, they need this because they're malnutrition, because they're that. I'm not disagreeing that that other part of Africa is not. But why should you be so intentional, so malicious, so biased, not to show our beautiful, golden children, but you want to steal our beef from Botswana and put them in your supermarket and put your labels on it and then tame us as if we are not? That is wrong. Absolutely wrong. So today we are with this queen who is doing this wonderful project, and she's really going to be telling us what it takes, what the kids are up to, how intelligent and smart they are, and how far they have come, to do what they are doing. So I just want to remove the pictures and then we go back to these conversations, and you're going to hear from her mouth how she started and what she's done so far. So over to you. I just, shared a couple of images, even though you sent me a whole album with beautiful, beautiful images. Now, tell us about your program, like Edutech. You say your Edutech, you've been such all over the world. And people, you see her sitting here, BBC, CNN, and all these big, big medias, they take helicopters to visit her in the villages where she is, just to report about her projects. Whether they want to steal it, who knows? Whether they want to, that's just don't believe that is happening when they see her works everywhere. She's been invited to conferences worldwide because they never even for 1 second believe that Africa would gain access to this intelligence. And number two, and then that it could even happen, and that is a woman, even a young girl, that is piloting this mega, mega project. Over to you, my queen. How did you get here?
Thank you, Dr. Susan. My passion for education came about from my very need to see change in the world. I was raised by teachers. My parents were teachers. And I strongly feel they played a big role in teaching us that education is the key. Yes, we might be looking at, is that narrative still the same? But as time went by and I ventured into the world of work, I still found the very need to get into something that I can be making a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated with a marketing degree, and I worked. I think often they say we are shaped by the first companies we work for. So I worked for a company that was doing books distribution. I was born and brought up in Kenya, but did a lot of my adult life. I came to Botswana as a very little girl, where that's the first company that hired me to come and work for them as an expatriate in the space of marketing. But the company was specializing on marketing books. So I fell in love with that. And I truly loved to see that we could get into the villages and teach children how to read. But then again, my entrepreneurial spirit kicked in very fast. I've always been very, very entrepreneurial from an early age. I used to love just doing business. And so what happened is I went into, after 1 year of being employed, I went on my own. So I went into, at that point, I was feeling the change on, is there a better way of ensuring that kids get to love to study besides just books? So I started with VHS. Some of our viewers may not know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure, Dr. Susan, if you know what that is, the video cassette. That was
Yes, of
thick.
course. No way.
I'm not sure that exists anymore. It was super thick. So I started with video cassettes. So we started the campaign where we would work with BBC World, and we would work with SABC, that is a South Africa media company that were doing production of videos. And then we started where we could see the language barrier. Children do not, I mean, it takes time for you to educate them in a different language. So why don't you start with their own? So we started coming up with our own production of videos in our local languages, but it's Setswana. So from there, we advanced. Of course, we went to CDs. So I worked a lot with companies like Eurotalk in UK that started the distribution of CDs. So obviously, we advanced until we went into apps. And then we went into assisting companies set up LMS, learning management systems, where now you could access information online. That is now when websites became a thing. Remember, I'm talking of, I started before internet. I mean, that's when the first computers were coming into the market. So until 2015, when now we started transitioning into how about what is happening. Africa is the second continent in the world that spends a lot of money in education. Yet, we have the highest population of youth that are still unemployed. So we had to take a sit back and question, there's a disconnect. Something is not adding up. We can't be spending so much money on education, and yet the results are still appalling. Our children are jobless. So we started looking at, do we need to change the curriculum? Do we need to teach, to train the trainers, the teachers in a different way? What should happen? So I joined organizations that were keenly doing research. Obviously, it took working with countries like Finland that has done a very good job in the space of education, and just getting to find out, what is your story? Why your results are different? Why your graduates are getting jobs? We have a lot of graduates in Africa that are jobless. So in my shift and my campaign trying to customize or reimagine education, we looked into, what if we're teaching them what we were taught and it's not making a difference? Can we look into the future of work? Some of these courses we're teaching, do they apply? Are they needed? 21st century skills, can we embrace that? So we obviously went so deep into coding and robotics. And then we still realized it wasn't, because we saw there was a shortage of programmers. So we started assessing what skills are needed. Why are we still shipping a lot of people from Europe? We have mines, we have so many industries in Africa, but a lot of engineers have to come from abroad. So why our own can't? Is it that they can't learn? Can we upskill them? Is it how we're teaching them? So in that, my first quest was, can we train programmers? So in trying to train learners programming, coding, and robotics, then we actually started with coding, and we realized this is not as easy as we thought. You train, but you still go like, is there an easier way? And then we started merging robotics and coding, where we teach coding through robotics. And we still ensure kids get to understand what is robotics and why robots. Then we looked into, how about if we start getting so deep into sciences? Why is math still a mystery? A lot of children still feel they don't fit in, they can't do math. And can we have a world without math? Is that really possible? From a tailor to a chef, everybody needs to do some calculations. So it's part of our lives. We can't run away from that. So that's when we came up with STEAM education, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So STEAM education has been there for decades, but then the Obama administration amplified it. So we had to look for partners that understood STEAM education better. But then from the early 20s, STEAM education was really becoming a thing in the States. And we looked into getting to work with organizations where it took us a bit of time trying to put together a curriculum that would work across boards. So one of my main concerns as we venture into changing the world and making life better for people is inclusivity. So first, my realization was, yes, this is great, but then it's only for the child in the city. So what about the child in the village? And 2018, we then again decided, no, let's change our business and run as a social enterprise, as an NGO, so that we can look for funding. Then we visit governments in Africa, we partner with them, and we assist them without leaving any child behind. So we started that sort of a movement. We campaigned and looked for global economic development donors that are able to assist, finance. Then we partner with local organizations, because as you know it, Africa is a big continent. So what we do, we get into different countries, we look for athlete partners, we educate them on the need to have, right from the grassroots, children, educators, the community, being able to embrace STEAM education. So we've pretty well done that from 2020, obviously with disruptions of COVID. And from 2021, we started training extremely well. So we've been having projects in South Africa, Botswana. We're very well positioned. We have a very good partner in Zanzibar. We have Kenya. We have a very strong partner in Nigeria. Uganda, we might be getting there very soon. So is Rwanda, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe. It's coming close pretty well. And we're obviously looking at reaching out to as many people as we can from Cape to Cairo, and just ensuring that we can educate children in Africa and make sure they can compete on the global stage like any other child in Japan, in Singapore, in China, in Australia, name it. So one of the success stories we have is when we found a very good partner, a global organization that has been training on STEAM education for the past 30 years. They're based in the States. And it took us a while to look into how do we customize this to suit Africa. Their program runs on volunteerism. They're in 30 plus countries, but very new in Africa. So after a lot of discussions, a lot of research, we tried it. We first did a sandbox in one place, a few villages in Botswana. And that's when we realized STEAM education, this is not rocket science. This can be done. So we brought in the use of recycled materials. So with the use of recycled materials, we don't have, be it an empty container for margarine, for milk, for sugar. That is a gem to us. So we collect that, then we run workshops where we train teachers on how you can turn that trash into recycled materials that you can use to train children sciences.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big things we realize the disconnect. I don't think we just lack skills and lack jobs. It's the methods of training, how we train them. There's a serious disconnect besides just training children and making sure they embrace STEAM education, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We obviously need soft skills. And I would love to get to know from Dr. Susan and maybe other viewers. It's a question I like asking people. Have you realized there's so many skilled people out there academically, but when you give them a job to do, they can't apply. They lack communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration. They just don't know how to. They can't express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a serious, serious problem. So you find Africa, we are struggling from when you become so good, you're obviously picked, you're taken to the West to be a worker. So can we be able to create more problem solvers? Because if we can, then we can embrace the spirit of entrepreneurship. We can also be good workers and we can develop, we can be more innovative. We can grow Africa. We can have the Africa we want. We've got the brains, we've got the resilience, and that is why Africa has the youngest youth. We're the youngest continent with the biggest generation. So if anybody wants to develop scientists, the place is Africa. And they're willing to learn. Last year, we did a tournament. We were competing with 22 countries. And guess what? One of our teams in Botswana scored #3. So they were able to beat children in China, in Singapore, in Australia, in US, name them. How brilliant is that? Every day I sit with those learners, their brain is just something else. They're innovative. And in Africa as well, a lot of our children look into education as an escape from poverty.
Correct.
So they'll do anything. Currently, we are training learners, schools are closed, but we have learners that you find in class 7 in the morning for our STEAM education projects, and schools are closed. So we're the ones who insist on, no, you need a break. Go home for 1 week, or we train half day. Isn't that impressive?
Wow. I mean, I'm just...
And you look sad. Don't be sad. It's a beautiful story.
No,
we're getting there.
It's not just only a look sad, but you see the potentials and the talents and the willingness. But if you look at the trash of the communication that they put as if Africans are just lazy, as if we just not do anything. But getting the true story, like we telling our stories, you can really just, you see the way I see it, and all the problems you've been talking about. We're training also our young executives and volunteers at the Pan African Daily, and there's just a lot of them. But in even scholars amongst them, but they cannot think for themselves. Not that they're not able, but they just go through this kind of curriculum, a certificate, and they get a first degree, and most of them. But if they wait for you to say something, they can pick these initiatives, and I think that's the where we are now. When we're talking about our skills, and we're talking about collaborations, we're talking about partnering, when we're talking about the diaspora and Africa coming up together. In the West, we've learned what problem solving is, skills, networking, collaborating, research. But our people on the continent, because they didn't grow in the structures, they just go to school, get a degree, a lot. But if you give a situation, they just want to be told, take water and put here, take this one and do it. And if you stop saying it, then they stop. They don't know how to move from A to Z. I did it. We're doing it on the Pan African Daily. We're doing the young executive programs, and they already 100, 200 of them. But we also thought, oh, these ones are even journalists. Most of them are freelancer journalists, bloggers, and stuff like that. But they don't, even to report now their own stories to a global audience. Because we're talking here about the skills and the potentials, putting it to the global space, not on the on the continent, in a local area. We function, but now we're going global. The
Yep.
diaspora is there. How do we put these things together? I mean, I'm so amazed. I'm not sad because, but I see this solution and how we cannot get it on the table. So over to you. Go ahead. Very interesting. When you go to the to meet this kid, how do you? I mean, I know that it's not just like, yeah, where kids already know. Oh, I'm willing to learn. How do you get them to really, be on it? Because they were just like, look, computers. Our children like to play with other things. How do you loosen them up before you get them to this point?
I'll send you some video clips because honestly, the energy with our children is just amazing.
Yes.
Obviously, it makes me a little bit sad when I think about they all want to come learn, and most of them it's from education or through education, I'll escape this poverty. There's obviously the realization that there's a better life with internet now. However, I always like to emphasize poverty is relative. Just because you see our children dusty and not looking as shiny as children in the West, first, our children are extremely happy. And that is not poverty. That's just how we roll. We just Africans. Those are children in the village. Soil is not that. It is not dirty. They go to farms. They go to the river. They fetch water. And some of them, they just do it for fun. They go swim in the river. They have a life. They're happy children. So to get to your question, these children are very keen. These children are extremely innovative. It's honestly, every day they just surprise me. They just surprise me. I sit with them and they will think the biggest job we do is to train our facilitators. Don't compete with them. I know you're a programmer. I know you have a PhD. I know you have a master's in this and that. Let the children be. Because one, we have a rule. We do not teach, we facilitate. All we do is we train them how to research. We provide them resources. We do very little of teaching, which our teaching style is very different because it's project-based learning. We ensure our lessons are extremely learner-centered. Children have a voice. Children want to experience. They want to do. They don't want lectures. Children want to be loved. They want learning to be fun. They want to feel you. So we started with going with our world-class expensive robots. And guess what? We could introduce them to children for 2 hours. Do you know, after that, children will come and tell us what? If only you can get me Arduino boards, motors, and sensors. I'd love to make my own robot. Our children don't use our robots. Our robots from Europe, we have a lot of robots we get from Denmark. Obviously, we use Lego. Lego is one of the, I think, world's most popular robots. We use Faber from Denmark. We use Roboblock from China. We use robots from all over the world. That is just introducing them. They're not interested. Our biggest job is looking for those resources. We look for motors, sensors, Arduino boards, any electronics. We use shoe boxes, card boxes. They make their own robots.
Yes.
And guess where we get some of the motors, which children have taught me? Broken fans, broken toys, anything that was made. If you look at my social media this week, our campaign is collecting trash. We go to homes, we look for those old broken computers, fridges, laptops, any electronic. We put them in a warehouse. Children come with tools. They break them down into pieces. They look for the parts they want. They use them. They solve so many different problems. For every project, they work as a group of 5, and their mandate is solve a problem that is existing in your community using artificial intelligence. It can be anything. So that child will have to figure out, what is artificial intelligence? what problems are existing in my village or in my community. How can I make a difference? Their stories are the most beautiful stories I've ever had.
I can
And guess
imagine.
what? We teach
Whew.
them. We teach them safeguarding their IP. We teach them safeguarding their IP because when we go for tournaments, we get all the big tech companies coming for our tournaments to look for what? Get ideas from children. Get ideas from children in Africa.
Hmm.
So one of the first lessons, what is cybersecurity? How do you make sure you're safe? The second one, obviously research is very critical. Then we teach them intellectual property. How would you register a company? How do you safeguard your story? How do you get to know? How do you commercialize that? How do you understand that you can make money from that idea? Come to Africa, Dr. Susan.
I'm coming. I just want to. I'll be in Detroit. From Detroit, I go to Panama. From Panama, I'm coming to Botswana. I mean, this story, I don't want anybody to tell me because this is just the point. When we keep saying our future, when we keep saying our children, and they're 42. Africa is 42 years. Let's just say 42 years old, because of these young ones, and they're the ones taking over.
Yes,
This is one thing that I've
true.
listened and it blows my mind. Queen, I have too much respect and I'm happy you're coming to the expo in Germany, bringing this project and exhibiting
I
it
have
there.
to.
Because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
only that's the first time that particularly a black queen doing this by themselves. Because like what we talk about, and I saw a couple of your videos, and and you, the way you describe, the way you play with them, the way even music, the atmosphere, I just like, what am I doing here, for God's sake? What am I doing here? Right. So now you are at the expo in Gorongoro, or where you actually at this expo. What are you doing there with the project?
So we have an expo in, okay, we do a lot of events because I love to showcase children's story, where we obviously match them with impact donors.
Hmm.
Some donors get so impressed with what the children are doing and want they feel the need to give them sponsorship. It could be scholarships for them to advance their education. And my biggest take is these children also get to realize their talents through this, because we get them to try so many different things. And then they kind of get to know, I didn't know this is a career. I didn't know I could understand anything about cybersecurity. I didn't know I could know what is artificial intelligence. I didn't know mechatronics is a thing now, space exploration. We expose them to a lot of stuff that is existing in the world where they could get opportunities. So currently, we are going to Zanzibar, where we're having Festac. It's a nut and cultural festival.
Hmm.
But then we get invited to a lot of those because not about us, without us. Children have to be in the room, and we cannot be there to represent them. We need the
Mm.
children to tell their story. So, in partnership with our Zanzibar partner, we are training children that will showcase and run their tournaments at Festac Expo, 23rd of May. You're all invited. Zanzibar is one of the most beautiful islands or countries.
Oh, yes.
It's a
Mm.
mini country, it's part of Tanzania in the world. It's beautiful. I usually joke that God lives in Zanzibar and visits other countries.
That is so true. That is so true. Festac is also one of our partners for the German Expo. It's actually exactly like what you said. We call it Africa Expo and Festival because nothing without us. I mean, anything that we want to do
No.
without our family, without our children, without our elders, without
Yeah.
our boys and girls, all of us, nothing functions for us. That's who we are.
Mm,
So this is
no.
mind blowing.
Mm.
I know that Zanzibar, beautiful space, I think the heaven on earth, as you say. Yes. And What ages, when you're talking about these children, you say children, what ages are you actually targeting or working with them?
Thank you, Dr. Suzanne. A very good question. Our program runs from the age of 4 years because we want to catch them when they're still young. And we go all the way to university level. However, working with donors, different donors have their preferences. And we also look at, there's obviously an acute shortage of resources. So sometimes infrastructure can be a little bit of a problem, but we do not say we can't do. We look for ways. We go into the villages with our solar, or we make sure we have charged gadgets that can sustain us for 48 hours or something like that. But we've worked in the poor of the poorest villages in Africa. And that's when you realize it can be done. So currently we're working with the current projects. It can be done. There's no excuse. No. So we're working with the age group from 12 years up to 18, where they're going to run tournaments. We're starting with the first one in schools. It will be on the 29th of July. You're all invited. So that one will be in Botswana. We currently have funding from European Union and GIZ. So we're working on that project. And then the next one will be, the final one will be in November, where now we're going to invite all countries in Africa to come and showcase what the learners have been doing. All the children that have been participating in this program. That is for us to prepare for the global finals that happen in May in the US every year, which we actually call it the Olympics of STEAM education. So that's where our children meet more than 1.5 million children that go for global finals. So think about the exposure, the learning that those children do.
Wow. I know I'm happy because, first of all, this is one of the topics that we actually would be talking about, technology and industrialization of the continent. And we actually not focusing on the elders, not why not even, but we're looking exactly at this from ages 3 years. Because when we talked about Agenda 2063, everybody's still like, Agenda 2063. We even forget that our children actually are the ones that we have to start putting that technology into them. I truly appreciate your work, your passion, everything that you do with these kids. All of us mothers, we are coming, we are running and coming after you. And we are going to be doing exactly that. Because from what I heard, there's a model. And the model now, you just pick it now and we put it just like what we're saying. To be honest with you, you're going to come to Germany, you'll see that our kids here don't even know the language, don't even understand what artificial intelligence are. Even though they see robots, they just play with logos as if they're toys. But ask them the technology behind. Ask them the coding and that. That's a fact. And that's why I want you to come with this project, and we're going to do that competition even there. So when people sit behind and just rubbish Africa, we laugh at the fools. I'm so sorry for my French, but because it's so painful to see that children in the villages can do such massive thing. They can program already. They know what mechatronic is. But here, you have to study, and then when they even give you that degree, it's just a very few, and they go about knocking their chest as if I'm an engineer in this. These are 4 years children in African villages of the poorest that can code, that know about even cybersecurity, their IP. Ask me what an IP is. To be honest with you, I don't even know what I will do that. So this project, I don't know why it's not getting exposure. I don't know why everybody, when Amos, and I want to give a shout out to Amos Onyango from the former PA assistant of Professor Pierre Lumumba, when Amos brought this and said, hey, Pan-African Daily, Dr. Susan, this is what you're looking for. And he brought that project. I'm just thanking him so much. And this is what we're asking you watching us. You watching us, whether it's from the diaspora or from the continent. These are the kind of projects, people that are doing incredible things. And a lot of us are doing that. but nobody's telling their story. Nobody has a clue about them. They would sit and just talk nonsense about us because we're not bringing our skills, our stories, our work, our engagement to the right platforms. Now, tell me, you said something, and I did like the community to know about that. Now, they hire even drones. Helicopters want to come and visit your projects in the villages, and they want to report about it. All these mega, mainstream medias. What is it that they want to see that you're doing? Or how do they put the communication out there? Why do they actually specifically target you to see what you're doing in the villages with the kids? What do you think that's all about?
Dr. Susan, there's such a disconnect, and I'm glad you are in the media, and it's the story that is untold. It's the narrative that needs to change, and it should start with us Africans. It's fascinating when I see your reaction, and I'd love to encourage you and say there are so many brilliant untold stories from Africa. There's a lot of talent here. So obviously, STEM, there has been a disconnect where STEM education, the narrative is it is very expensive, which yes, it is expensive to teach sciences. So what they find so fascinating is how are you able to do it when we know that affordability for just internet in Africa, affordability for laptops, just how many schools have a science lab in Africa? Leave alone talking about introducing children to drones. How do you do that? And guess what? I'll share with you videos of our children having made some drones and the robots they make. So I think for me, what I find and I resonate with so deeply is from the pain that we Africans have grown with, from that scarcity, it made us extremely innovative. We do not have a can't do spirit. And especially as children born in the 70s, we really had to reinvent ourselves. And that is where first you find the resilience in us. We look for solutions. It's not once or twice that we get into a school and you find there's no furniture, there's no space. And we call children, let's get under the tree. And the lesson is done. There's no power, there's no electricity, there's no internet. We download, we look for other materials. It's a constant story when I tell my partners in the US how we do it, and they go like, what? Why are you printing stuff? Yeah, we have to print. We work with thousands of hard drives because you have to download videos when the internet is there, when there's electricity, or you even have to travel from one village to the other, get access to internet. So for me, the biggest take I'd love our youth to know and to understand, we all have fundamental assets. Reach out to those. We all have something we can do. We all have disposable assets. Can you reach out to those? You can heal yourself. I keep saying and emphasizing, my scars are my trophies. I need to see the beauty rather than rant and complain and wait for the West to come and save Africa. No, we've got solutions. And I learn every day from these children who tell me, no, we don't want to use those robots. Now we actually try to purchase a 3D printer so that they can make some of their little things that they want to use. Think about that. We're raising funds for buying 3D printers. We shoot videos because essentially we come up with a docudrama. We shoot videos with our phones. They're perfect. It can be done. It doesn't have to be an iPad or a MacBook. No. It can be done.
It can be done. Play your part. That's going to be my conversation in Detroit. That's my topic. It can be done. Play your part. Most of us just enjoy and just dream the Africa that we want, and nobody wants to get committed. Nobody wants to be a part. most of us dream and visualize, oh, it should have been like this, it should, but when it gets to commitment, we don't really get that point, be it on the continent or be it in the diaspora. But tonight we are making, we're showing you, like what we say, behind the scenes, what nobody would show you. But the question is, do they even need to show us? Now, my queen, I want to come back to something that I think it's fundamental for us to understand. No matter what we say, even when we sit and say, oh no, they come to steal our resources, they come to the, I still get it that they steal our resources, they steal our brains. The world is so afraid of Africa. The world is so scared, even particularly the youth, the children. They're so afraid, like what when you said, they want to make their own. Put them on the competition, they're gonna beat every other country. I can bet my life on that. I'm a village girl. I grew up in the village. I know what we did. I know how we climb mountains and climb hills and climb trees and play games and beat the boys. I know it. I'm a street girl in the village. We win all the time. We win. Give anything, we win. You understand? And so it's the same thing. You see this village girl sitting here. Yes, it can be done. Play your part. These children, I don't know what we would do with them if we just sit always yammering and talking this and this and leave our children. They're going to stand one day in our faces and look at us like, sit there and be talking. We do the work. So yes, it can be done. And now this queen here is just raising funds to buy a 3D. Now, we're talking to all the rich guys rolling here. And some of you, comfortable. We can never lack. So we're going to be joining that fundraising to make sure that this queen here gets that 3D for our children in Botswana and all over. This is where we act. This is where we say, play your part. This is where we say, yes, that's the Africa we want to talk about. This is not just where we come and, oh, this leader is doing corruption, oh, this one is doing this. This is where we're saying, you know what? Hey, we can do this. It can be done. I want to play my part. So I truly would appreciate you would share this video, this conversation with your networks. You really would get her contact. You would follow her projects. You would see why, when it comes to topics like science, why we just, because it wasn't our thing. Professor James Small was here yesterday, told you about the science, the African science of spirituality. That's the creative brains. So when you see this DNA circulating in this kids, this melanin, they pick everything and wrong with it. Bring your robots from everything. They throw it in the trash and they do their own. Right? We run with wheelchairs, you say. We did wheelbarrows. I saw skateboards here when we came here and they were talking about skateboards. Are you kidding me? We did skateboard in the village and we ran on no tar, no roads that were tarred. My darling, there were no tar. Skateboards. We skated on it. We produced it with our bamboos, with our wood, and we did skateboard. So when I came here, they were like, oh, skateboard, as if it's something new. I told my kids, get away. We did all those things and did it well. From our hands, from our heads. So yes, it can be done. We need to play our part. Africa is not just the future, it's the today, the now, and will be the future, and no other future would come after that. Am I lying, my queen? Support me here. Just back me up here.
Absolutely right. I'm loving this. No, we are on track. We are on track. We're changing the narrative. Our children are woke, and we are the ones we've been waiting for. Not anymore. Fourth Industrial Revolution, we're not just going to watch it and watch other countries getting ahead with it. And if we do, what are we going to tell our grandchildren? We were here and we just watched. No. This poverty, and I actually like calling it the poverty mentality. I feel it's the biggest problem we have. Just that thing of just fear, just getting scared, just the mentality that this is where we belong. No. We can change this, and we are doing it. one child at a time.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful thing. I hear Queen Teresa Myers here saying, hats off to Sally. We need to stop boxing our children. We need to stop making them believe that they are different simply because they lack resources or because we are African. DI is leading the way. Yes, exactly. DI is leading the way.
Thank you.
When you meet them, I mean, do you when you look at them, I'm saying it because I'm a village champion. When you look at them, do they look like children that they even know that all these kind of lies and crazy stories have been told about them? Does it even bother them?
Yes. No, they do. They do. You know, we collect, you see, first to train a child, you need to make the child very comfortable. So we obviously
Yes.
start with breaking ice. We make them our friends. We make them be able to relate to us.
Mm-hmm.
As with my gray hair, I try to talk like them because obviously their language is different. And I also work with a, we actually work with a lot of youth. Most of our staff, they're under 25. We work with from 18, some of them are as young as 17, 18. Those are the people we work with as our facilitators. Because then when they're training, it's kind of peer-to-peer training.
Mm-hmm.
So they're educating, they're facilitating and working with their age groups almost. And so they can relate, they'll talk to them. So we get them
Mm-hmm.
to open up. And yes, we get a lot of them telling us, I thought this stuff is only for Americans or white people or only in the West. They know, they watch TV. There's that disconnect that this is, so first you have to break the ice. They're intimidated. This is not our thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't belong here. We are subjected to poverty or to this life in the village. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why we collect stories of other African children that have done amazing work and show them this one did it. I'm not giving you an example with a child in Singapore. This other one from
Mm-hmm.
your village did it. You can do it. So our first week is usually like orientation, making them warm up, understand this is not rocket science. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of motivation, morale boosting. Then
Mm-hmm.
from there, they go way up. They shoot the sky. So last year when one of the teams won, that was our biggest success story because now we keep telling them, these are children you know, these are children you hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
But they were able to beat children in Singapore, children in Japan that have all these gadgets in their homes. And the reality is our program, it gets to an extent of sometimes we have to feed children. Yes, they're coming from homes where there's no breakfast. That's the reality. But it doesn't mean their brain is any different, no? Or homes with social ills, or they're orphans. There are a lot of issues, as you know it, in Africa. But we've got to beat that. Our scars just have to be our trophies. We just have to stop licking our wounds and get it done.
Mm, mm. So true. So true. If you say the problems in Africa, where are those problems not existing? I mean, ours is just even a list of it. Because these children not liking food doesn't mean that they don't have the food. But we used to play until our mother would come and feed us in the bed. Beat the, I mean, the weather, the everything is just good. You just there. Um, must that be a reason, a limitation? No, isn't it?
No, no, it shouldn't. Okay, well, obviously, I'm very skeptical on I keep emphasizing on I'm not gonna teach children that are hungry. So that is why our cry out to diaspora, all our citizens of goodwill, whenever you find a need and somebody you can help, help. This week, I think yesterday and the day before, we've had to get back to our offices where we have a kitchen, buy food, and cook for children. Because you expect you leave a message, you send letters home, you call parents. It's a holiday program, send children with food. The children come with no food. Then you sit and ask them, why you didn't come with food? There was no food at home. You call mom, because we involve social workers. And mom tells you, yeah, there's no food. It's a reality. Times are tough.
Yes.
So that is where, yeah, but if we can still, we bootstrap, we seriously, we've mastered the art of bootstrapping. You try and make sure it's a balanced diet, because obviously we don't eat fast foods. A lot of that we don't. It's a treat once in a while. We don't even encourage that. But then you're providing employment by getting people to come and cook food, take to children. They eat, they're happy, they will study. They'll also they'll get inspired. They'll want to make a difference. They'll want to pay it forward in the near future. So yeah, it's a reality. Problems are there, but we're not going to pack them overnight. We've got to get going. We need to look for solutions. We go sometimes to supermarkets, and I'll tell a supermarket, I have X amount of money. I have $200. I need to feed children. I need $400. And people are very kind in Africa. We get a lot of support. So the supermarket manager tells you, come and get all the fruits that are here.
Amazing.
The can-do spirit is what we need to have. And that the philanthropy spirit, the willingness to help, the willingness to pay it forward. And I mean, it's an old proverb, but I'm sure you all know it. It takes a village to raise a child. So the village needs to speak. And that is why the success of our projects takes a lot of community collaboration. We make sure parents know what we're doing. The government knows what you're doing. You've got to call out all the stakeholders. The private sector knows there's something going on there. When I have extra cash, or I can work on a budget and support. So we're encouraging so many other people to form those sort of movements in their villages. Africa is massive. We can't be everywhere, but together we can collaborate and we can create a better world for our children.
Wow. Oh, heal the world, make it a better place for you and for I mean, the king of pop saw all this and left us actually with this memories, with the vibe that we should continue just sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing with one another. We never would even lack anything. Now, what do you see the future of technology in Africa? I mean, like, I'm just saying, like you referred to when you brought this and they're like, no, these are not our things. Imagine if you had brought something else. They'll be running there and like, of course, normally the environment psychologically where you live, it actually molds you or defines you. So they even some games, even if they brought it from here, you're like, what is this? You just like throw it, right? And when you look at technology today, where would you say we're going in the nearest? We're the superpowers, isn't it?
We're doing great. We are doing great. If you look at the past 3 years, we've had tech giants come and set up companies in Africa. If you're aware, Google, I think Google 2 or 3 weeks ago set up an office in Nairobi. And I'm not sure it's their first one. We have Amazon that now has data centers in Cape Town and Johannesburg. We have Twitter that was, I think they were exploring Africa. They started with Ghana, 2020, I think, or 2021. And obviously, Elon Musk, being our homeboy, he might just make it skyrocket now that he's the new owner of Twitter. So what we're calling the Silicon Savannah of Africa, places like Kenya, tech has advanced in such an amazing way. Internet penetration is very high. The smartphones penetration, we actually realized that within COVID, because we were able to see children using just WhatsApp. So by making affordability of internet and more so scaling it up, ensuring there's internet in the villages, that has really advanced technology in Africa. And I see the future of Africa in tech space very bright. We are going places. Tech giants wouldn't be interested in investing here if they didn't see untapped resources or they didn't see us as a gem.
Wow. Whew. So you already heard. I like brother Haya Heike who said this is an opportunity for sponsorship and advertisement for global sponsors. No, it is not. It is actually telling us what is already on the ground, and they're there. If we don't build our own space, what do you think that we'll have to do? Do we, this is some of the things we just like. No, we cannot use their spaces, that we have to build our own and see how many Africans will be on it. We did. We have AfroWorld.tv, Facebook. Go and look how many are there. We did conferencing. How many? So sometimes, yes. So should we leave our people just rot because, okay, this one is coming and this one is coming? They are going to take over if we don't do anything. It's a fact. Let's stop lying to ourselves.
True.
Particularly when we just talk and don't do anything. Yeah. Particularly when we're just dancing and be the stuff. So all of us, it is now. Call out to everybody that is saying I'm the Pan-African fan, I'm the flag bearer, I'm the this. Unfortunately, most of us that are really on this fight are those that's why, as a matter of fact, we need to go to war, because they sit on our money and we cannot even develop ourselves, and we ourselves have to fight with crumbs to be able to move forward, right? All of us here are goodwill. So what we are saying is we are the poor also. That's why I think most of the time they say we're talking a lot because we're poor. Let's just consider that we are even the poor. So what is our job? Our job is to reach out to those that we see that have the possibility, but they cannot be on this, platforms like our own, where they think Dr. Susan is only here talking about and not having any money. She's not a billionaire, right? So yes, we are the chosen ones. We the want to actually go up to that point where we reach out to our geniuses like this. I mean, when you look at these kids, their creativity, don't you see too much genuity in us?
Honestly, it's you know what, I see the big difference because I see a big difference when I train the city children and children in the village. Children in the village, they don't have the undivided attention between Netflix, YouTube, social media, and everything else as the children in the city. So the children in the city is a bit distracted. So you can just draw the difference between children in the first world and children in Africa.
Yes.
Because majority, like now, it's in the evening, you find a lot of children, they get on WhatsApp to ask us, what else can I do? I've finished this task. You don't get that from children where you're competing with Netflix. You're competing with them doing many other fun things as they would think it is. So these ones are keen to learn. They don't have so many distractions in their brains. And that's why if you want to develop scientists, come to Africa.
One thing is for certain, whether the support or not the support, or it's a divine plan. That's what I said, is the plan of the creator, the I am, the God of our ancestors. Whether we like it or not, like Dr. Mata said, the youngest billionaires in the youngest continent that will produce the world, feed the world, bring solutions, technology, and everything. It's no other one than you, than Africa. That's a fact that we shouldn't even. We're not negotiating with anybody.
No.
We're not negotiating. We're not even ready to negotiate. Botswana is already on the platform. And really, if you look at the stock markets and everything, Botswana. And that was what got my curiosity like. Wait a minute. I know it from a cultural perspective. I love the mountains. I love the beef. I love the mining. I love the cattles because the history is our history, right? If you look at the Tswana,
Yeah.
the language, I try to pick some words. It's a Bantu language. And for
Yeah.
me, uh, I'm more about about the culture, the village, the art, the talents, the mountains, the
Mm-hmm.
hills, the environment, because that's who I am. And it was so interesting when I went through a lot of the researches, and you could see in the stocks, and you could see in the even in the world market. Wow. And I like Botswana. Why is this? And now they even say it's the richest country and the fastest growing. Of course, people would disagree or agree, oh, it's just because they're 2.5 or 3 million people. But of course, it's a country with a government. So if we
Yeah.
take those small patch, let's call them patchwork countries. But look at
Mm-hmm.
Belgium and look at Switzerland. How old are they? Look at even
Mm-hmm.
some provinces here. How old are they? 10 million in 10 million Belgians or 11. So what's that? Okay, as compared to us. And they could even colonize a whole a whole Congo, which is the giant, the mother of the continent. So it can be done. Let's
Yeah.
not buy into all this thing. Oh, it's the future. I hate it. I mean, I just don't want to hear when people say Africa is the future. That's the kind of language I don't like to hear from anybody. I quarrel with Germans here for all sort of things. Always say, oh, Africa is the future. I say, come on, Africa is now and is the future, and there's gonna
Yeah.
be no
True.
other future. So we stop thinking and saying, don't be so discouraged. So when we say take care of the future, the we generation, like you said, the 70s born, and we start
Mm.
beginning to think, so I'm not going to be a part of this enjoyment. I'm not going to be a part of the billionaires. So why am I even, that kind of like, no, it is now, tomorrow, and after life, forever.
Yeah.
My
Mm-hmm.
queen. So how can people follow you? How can they reach you? Like you say, yes, you have your social media. Where you operating apart from when you in the village with your diamonds? Hmm.
I love that. So we have offices in Gaborone, the city,
Yes.
in a place called Village. Yeah, it's actually, I'm very lucky to work close to home. It's about 1 kilometer from my residence.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have offices in South Africa, in Johannesburg. Then we have an office in Nairobi. The
Mm-hmm.
other countries, we have offices, but through our partners. So currently, we have registered non-profit organizations in those three countries. Other
Mm-hmm.
countries, we get partners, and then our offices are run through those partnerships. So you can get me on. I'm very very active on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
which I would have to check and post. But if you search me as Sally Kimangu, you'll obviously get me. We also have social media, Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and you can
Mm-hmm.
see us as Destination Imagination Africa.
DI. So that's the meaning of DI, Destination Imagination Africa.
Yeah,
Wow.
DI, Destination Imagination. Yes. Yeah. I can also share my WhatsApp number. I'm very active on WhatsApp, which
Oh
is
yes, go
plus
ahead.
267
Mm-hmm.
mhm, plus 267 766 48400
Mm-hmm.
plus 267 766 48400. Let's
Beautiful. And
build
they
the
can get,
Africa we want.
we are
Sorry?
able. No, no, no. Of course, I just wanted to
Yes, we
say, and
can.
people can really okay, okay, beautiful. Someone is. I want to donate 50 euros. Wait a minute here. Let me see. Um, should I just do it over your IBAN? Yes, go ahead. Do it over the IBAN. It's a direct process and it's very easy. Thank you very much. And all of you that a lot of people keep asking, what is IBAN? Like, because some people call it Swift code. Swift code is the international
Yes.
transaction where you go to your bank and you just give just that number, present it to your cashier, and and they usually is just a bank to bank. People prefer it a lot. It's more
Mm,
safe, it's more secured, and you actually don't pay
mhm,
anything. That's a thing, bank to bank. So that's the IBAN,
mhm,
and you can see our
mhm.
IBAN on air. And yes, um, I don't know if anyone has anything that is so challenging to us here. I see a lot of us because it's STEM, it is technology. It sounds like it's hard, rocket science, like you said. So, but tell us how you transform this kind of hardcore into a dancing spree. I see the fun that you and these kids are having. It's like, do you transform them naturally, and then they become like the talents that they are, and they enjoy it? Maybe when they're building their dance skin, and they're doing some other cultural things. I see the fun is too much. Tell me.
Well, you know what is interesting to say? In hindsight, they transform me. They transform us. Children are just special. I think God just packs children and brings them to the world with so much love, so much joy, so much energy.
Yes.
Quite often, they actually, sometimes you'll even be having a bad day. You go hang out with children and they just make you happy. They're just awesome. And they just need someone to listen to them. They just need somebody who cares and who loves them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good to go. So initially when we started, I was sitting on the fence saying, I'm used to training adults. I don't know how to train children. And constantly I was scared of how do I train children.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking for ECD trainers and teachers. And it just started with day one when we met those children, and it was life changing. It was a life changing moment for me. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like my life was beginning to get a purpose. I had a reason to
Yes.
live. They come to you, they're looking at you, they have a lot of questions, and you want to answer them. You may not have all the answers, but they just need someone who can listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're little humans. I mean, they have a mind of their own. We teach them, we have a voice. We teach them how to get their self-esteem, which I find it like the most important thing that a human being can get. Own your voice, tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
You can challenge your teacher. You can ask, you can say, I didn't get that. You can tell teacher to repeat it again. So often, because we do a very clear monitoring and evaluation, where we
Mm-hmm.
do the baseline testing when we are starting, and every week we collect data on the change.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 months, those children are usually totally transformed. Then we go back to schools where we maintain a relationship. 6 months later, we check how are these children doing. And quite often, children who have gone through our program get into leadership. You go back, you find they're the prefects. Some of them you find they're not doing well in class at all.
Mm-hmm.
But this has inspired them, transformed them. They're now
Mm-hmm.
obedient. They want to listen. They want to learn. They want to listen to their teachers. They want to get more involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly life changing. I would urge listeners to log into the website and get to understand more about Destination Imagination. It's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful program. It's very, very well packaged. And a big shout out and thank you to our partners in the US. How they came up with such a phenomenal program, I still don't know. It's plug and play. You don't have to constantly think about looking for curriculum.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I truly appreciate that. I appreciate all of us that are bringing this. I mean, it's sometimes no matter how we want to say this, particularly these queens, the mothers of the nation, the Africans that are awoke, the ladies. I want to give a shout out to our queen out there, Veronica, who just donated 50 euros to support our work. She is a sister that we just had to discover ourselves in Germany, Hamburg here, doing incredible thing. And she's been here and like, I never found you. Where were you? And then I said, I also did not find you, sister. 400, 500 years. And we're living in the same space. We don't know. Wow. We are back in this transition and this extension of ourselves. And I want to welcome you, my darling sister. We are five now that getting connected. We have our sister Vena. We had sister Tata in Hamburg also that who contacted us. And now we have sister Verona. And then I mean, in the other spaces. And I had two of them. I mean, the conscious ones. I'm not saying that we are only five here, but I'm talking about those that are discovering us, the puzzle that is bringing us together. And we are so great. Imagine, I cannot imagine that this very ground that we're saying we'll be meeting and connecting in such a highly spiritual one people, one nation, one continent, one world, one humanity, mother, the cradle of all. So I really just want to thank you. We don't want to leave you now, Kim. I mean, it's so quite interesting. We don't want you to go. I don't know. Do you are you in a rush?
I can
Do you have
answer
some?
a few questions if you want me to. This has been quite exciting, and I would also request we do more of this. And maybe if at some point you can have our learners come to your studio virtually, it will be interesting to get the stories from them.
Oh, this is the beautiful thing. That's what we do. As a matter of fact, that's what we do. What we do is like, but we just wanted to first of all know the powerful spirit that is behind this inspiration and doing the sacrifices, because we are the further marginalized. We are really further voiceless. All of us are the poor, as we say. This global family is about how can we build. It's not about, oh, this and that. It's about how can we build. We're so focused on the noun, taking into consideration our stories, but focusing on the noun. So yes, and we know a lot of beautiful, good souls in the world that just looking for an opportunity like this to be a servant, just to serve humanity,
Yeah.
to serve people, and they don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are here for the first time, like I met Sister Verona, I don't know how old you say. So people always would connect. Know that we belong. We are one. So, but we wanted to get to know you, and then we will get to at least the game changers is there, the heroes, the sheroes are they, not us. Do you understand? And we don't need to begin to ply and share their good things. So yes, we would want to actually hear from them. So you think that's possible?
Yes, yes. I'm certain some of them are listening. I love telling my story through children because children are very authentic. So they'll tell their story as is, and that's what we teach them every day. You have a voice, tell your story.
Is it possible for you to just call one? Let them just, if they're listening on WhatsApp, and we let's just listen to them, and if they're watching you, if they hear everything that you're saying, and if they will be willing to be my honorable guest here.
I can check. It's just a little bit. I can see I have a lot of messages on my WhatsApp, but it's 10. It's going to 10 in Botswana.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So that could be the only challenge. Yeah, it's a little bit late, but
Mm-hmm.
we can arrange, and I can request a team. We try to give them as much exposure as we can. So they would obviously be super excited to connect with you and just tell their story.
So what is the number again? My sister Queen here is asking. I want to type it even
It,
here. What's the number? 264. You said
it's
something.
plus 267 plus
Wait, plus two
267
plus 267. Yes.
67
67
766.
766.
Sorry,
What?
plus 267
Yes.
766 four eight
Wait.
four
Wait a
zero
minute.
zero.
Plus 267 and then 7 again.
Yes, let me type it down for you on the chat.
Okay.
766 48400. You can
He
see
says
it?
it's already there. Okay, I want to get it on the private chat. So, okay. Wow, we lost her. No problem. She's going to come back. She's a warrior. My written voice. Thank you, sister. I'm going to put the number for you, or is a king. I don't know. My written voice. Are you a sister queen or a sis or a brother king? Oh, I don't know how we got to Lhasa, but you know what? I just want to put some of those pictures again for those that are late, that did not actually follow up the amazing work that she's doing with her kids out there. You know, children learning to solve problems, figure out solutions for themselves, because everything that we do is all about problem solving. Um, Pan African Daily is about seeking solutions to Africa's challenges by Africans and friends of Africans and world wishers, people that are ready to join us, cradle of humanity, to build Mother Africa. But we are saying we can do it by ourselves for ourselves. So, but we do appreciate every concerned, every support, every melanated, non-melanated people who have good intentions and goodwill for Africa and humanity, to say we all belong here. We have to leave something good. So that's what she does with this ones, are the ones, like she said, in the city, but the ones in the rural areas, they have chunks of pictures from her here, and I could not load them. These ones because they're smaller and portable. But you can check on her website, like she was saying, and see what this marvelous queen sister warrior is doing in our local rural villages with our kids, teaching them how to be the gurus, how to be the billionaires, how to be the ones that would tell the story of Africa in a beautiful way for those that want to see it the way they want to see it. So we are able. We are really able here. We don't lack anything. Queen Sister Dr. Amy F. Watata knows her audience. Yes, of course, brother. We know ourselves. Are we not part and parcel of one another? We do. We do know. So that's the beautiful project that our sister is doing out there. For those of you that joined us late, okay, you are me and I am you. What is it that I can know about you, brother? Nothing. Nobody's hiding. And for some of you, particularly like my sister Queen Veronica, and Tala, I really would like you people to come up also live and introduce yourself on the Pan African Daily. Not today, but get yourself ready. I see you are a talented one, and most of us have the talent. Let's just begin to get to know each other. Most of us in this family, we know ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything. We've cried together, we've laughed together, we've danced together here. It's a whole big worldwide family. And we love it. And we are unapologetical. We don't apologize for things. We just ask, take us, leave us, whatever. After all, poor people, we don't have anything to lose. We're already poor. There's nothing you can do again with us. That's what I love about poverty spirit. The so-called, you can't do anything. We don't have anything. And we just who we are. Take us or leave us. But we can make you rich if you want it. If that's your passion to be whatever. We give you the place. We give you the possibility. We connect, we network you. We put you with great brains, superpower women like she is. We bring them for free to you, right? And she shares these incredible stories. Probably, if some companies will go there, they will be paying thousands and some six figure to get this queen even speak, share her beautiful story and knowledge and her intelligence, right? So, but on the Pan African Daily, because we are us to us and it's about us, we get them for free and we enjoy, and they give us the best of the best. Can you imagine the knowledge that she's putting out here? Can you imagine? Can you? Try and see whether you can book her for your conference and hear how much her press kit is going to level on you. But on the Pan African, because we're one spirit, all in one, we just share. We are the trade by batters, like our ancestors were. My sister, you're coming back and you're looking so beautiful. I just want to know, what is it that makes you glow? You know, the day when I spoke with you, I was like, I'm boarding a plane to, I'm being on the next flight to go to Botswana. And now I physically see your beauty, that magnetic smile that is just contaminating. I know Lloyd, Kwame, who is here, NS Parker, everybody's just like, are you married? That's the question. Papa Cheesy, Marsha Lawrence, Ayoka F1, my name. I know all of them are just like licking mouth, like, is she married? Kwame, tell us, my queen. Because yes, that was one critical question that people actually wanted to. My audience came behind me like, Dr. Susan, your guests are coming here, whether men or women. What is it? You don't even ask their status. Some of us want to.
But Dr.
I'm so
Susan,
I'm so sorry if there's a king behind you. Let him not slap my French here. But it's just a normal thing to know our status in the family, how we roll, who want to roll. One never knows. So tell us, are you available?
Dr. Dr. Susan, tell them I have two gorgeous big girls and I'm starting to recruit. So they can talk to me nicely, but my girls are damn expensive.
Oh. No, but what to get to
So
the
I'm,
girls,
I'm
they want to get to the girls, they want to get through their mom. What is it? We're not talking about, we're still going to come to the program Black Love and Family. That's our latest program, our platforms that we're building. But the problem is, how do they get to the hen without passing through the mother cock or the mother hen? The
because the
question
mom
is,
is done with that part of her life.
my queen,
The
I
mom is
mean,
not on offer.
okay. I'm so sorry for my French.
No, it's fine. The mom is not
Oh,
available.
I mean, just the most luckiest prince and king in the world. Say hello to him. Yes, of course, we also want to know our in-laws. Why not? I mean, so when we know our queens, we know our king. So greetings to him, because everything that you're doing, for sure, it takes a magic system that is powerhouse, that actually puts this glow and just massage the brain, and that's why you could think straight. Thank you so much. Greetings to the king
Very
and to
true.
our beautiful,
Thank you.
yes, our beautiful princesses. Are they also part of your program? Following mommy everywhere, doing it.
Yes, actually. Yes. Well, my firstborn is 25. She's a graduate and she's supporting
Mhm.
me as she waits to go do her master's. And then my last one is 16. They're obviously, they love what I do. So they're big supporters of my big ambassadors and champions of what I do. And they
Beautiful.
also enjoy that I get to travel a lot. So I travel with them. Yeah.
Wonderful. So me and you can start talking about that business, because I have some two prince here, you know, and they almost in the same age group. So definitely that trade-off could not trade-off could, we keep our own family. We keep our chickens in the farm. Not even a Lebo would see that.
Absolutely.
So we have a question here
The
from
conversation
Marshall
should start.
asking. Yes, Marshall Lawrence
Mhm.
is asking if your classes also are available online.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. A good question. Yes, they are. However, we've seen the difference on doing in-person classes. So we have what we call instant challenges. I can share with you a link. And you can also log on to our website, which is diforafrica.org.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get some. We also offer a lot of freebie lessons here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But I would encourage a lot of people to just try, join some communities that preferably passionate about edtech.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be STEAM education, but mostly people in education space get to understand what we do. People in
Mm-hmm.
technology as well, and they can start their own DI.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more fun when it's done by a group of children, unlike when you teach your child alone at home. However,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many other online platforms that you can teach your children coding and robotics. MIT offers a lot of free classes. There's code.org, there's code GCAP. There's several online platforms that you can introduce your children to programming. For DI, we have some freebies we offer, but I would emphasize and encourage collaboration, partner with private sector, partner with your government, look for donors. There are always donors willing to support, and start DI in your community, help others.
Mm-hmm. I would like I'm asking this last question because we're rounding up, and this one is really, really, I love it. He said, what would be great if those kids later in life create a branch technology completely divorced of the West?
Mhm. That's
Did you get
brilliant.
that?
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yes, I got it. I got it. And I'd love to take a minute and tell a beautiful story. I don't know if Dr. Susan, you've come across this movie. It's called The Boy Who Learned How to Harness the Wind. It's a true story from a boy in Malawi. That story is about 10 or 15 years old. It's a village that had a lot of problems. There was no food, there was no rain. Then this boy just one day told the father, how about if I can try and see how I can make it rain? I can't remember the story very well, but I'll be happy. You can check it out because Hollywood has done a movie on it with Hollywood stars. And because it's a very young story, considering the boy is, I think he's currently at university. I think it's African Leadership University in Rwanda, where he's
Mm-hmm.
schooling. And that simply tells that our African children, those are the kind of pioneers that come back and create their own brilliant stories and come up with a tech company. And you're seeing a lot of that. I mean, you've seen some movements that are shaking the world, some apps that children in Africa are developing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the emphasis is if we can do our best to expose them as much as we can,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see a lot of changes in Africa. We'll see a lot of innovation. We'll see a lot of tech companies that our own African children are creating, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll be able to make them better. Yeah.
Ashe, Bayete. That's so profound. Yes, we cannot already be rolling those sleeves and thinking that why we're not actually doing our own. Don't forget, we are starting to get into this other modern world technology. We are a naturally spirited people from the pre-colonial history. We love our nature. We love being the way we are, and so it never was a need. But because we see the global challenges
Yeah.
and the crisis and also the solutions that makes and facilitate
Yeah.
development, that's why we actually late into
Mhm.
it and we're engaging into it. But I can believe, I can bear to
Mhm.
you, I can guarantee you that we're so fast on it. You know, when you're late to learn, you learn and outperform even those that just have it for granted. Like I
Mhm.
said, I don't know kids that are 4 years or that do programming here. Of course, when they go to high school and they're doing the Ausbildung or sorry, vocational trainings in other sectors, they then focus on that. But what you're actually doing is putting something on the table and just get the excitement, the curiosity. Like, what is this?
Mhm.
I've
Mhm.
never said this before.
Yeah.
And when you've never seen anything, you're curious and you learn even more better, more than the one that just have it and know, I can have my gadgets. Why do I need somebody's just doing it and giving it to me? Why do I need to worry to know how they fix
Mhm.
it? Okay. So yes, we are
Mm,
confident that will happen very soon, and that's already happening in our eyes by us creating our own stories right now. Did you see this happening
yeah.
anytime,
Mm.
or when the other medias came to interview you? Did you ever see a black media or like us that are building this one? Share stories like this. This is also new, isn't it? Innovation.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Susan, I'd love to keep sharing with you because we have a lot of untold stories.
Hmm.
We have a lot of amazing innovation. Recently, some young children, some youth in Zimbabwe were able to come up with a TV that doesn't need any connection.
Hmm.
There are no cables. It's wireless.
Yes.
And they're similar. Yeah. There's a lot that's happening in the continent. What we're not doing is that our story is still not told.
It's still not told, and now we are here. Exactly, we have their history, his own story, and we never had our story. So right now is our
Yeah.
story. We're in the decade of our story, creating our own stories by ourselves and controlling it and
Mhm.
owning
Yeah.
up to it and be responsible for it. So when we say the Africa we want is our story, and we're responsible for that, and we are certain and sure that we're gonna get it. We are concluding, and I want to thank you for being here. But there's some just like the family that I told you that you're going to meet here on Pan African is so it's so overwhelming, and they're like, "What? You have a 25 years? You yourself look that you look 25, sister." And then,
Thank
yes, what
you.
is the hear what FY is saying. FY is saying, what are you thinking about? Oh my goodness, black don't crack for real. Miss Kim is so youthful. Mrs. Kim, not even Miss now. Okay. So I think you know why you saw him. She was using her daughter's phone to connect because her own dropped out. That's why you see the Miss, but she is Mrs. Kimangu Sally. Because it's your daughter's name that is showing Miss Kim. And exactly, you look
Yeah.
25, sister. But we don't get old. That's a fact. Brothers are looking
Thank
like that.
you.
Don't whoop us out here with your with your young looking faces. We are in the 70s born. Okay. So you already know where we are. Thank you so much, my darling sister. I mean, it's a wonderful pleasure to have you in this warm family. Now you see what we do here every day, what we're trying to build here, connecting one dot everywhere they are, searching for whoever was lost and now are found again in this beautiful family. And we are happy to have you. And we would, now you've seen, it's your place, I told you. Probably we still keep searching
Mhm.
for co-hosts so you can be a co-host on our program. Find your own time slot where you want to come out and moderate with your children and show one another what we're doing that the world is not saying. And we're not actually here to show the world. We're just here doing our own stuff, bringing our own contribution to world development and the peace in a global space, fulfilling our purpose on earth. So thank you so much, sister. Just one word for your family here.
Mhm. Thank you. It's been a great honor. You're doing a brilliant job, Dr. Susan. I'm just thinking you must be the opera of Africa. It's brilliant. It's the ability to bring people together, make sure they connect. I'll just go back to reminding each and every person that is listening, this is our story. We can't wait for anyone to tell our story. We need to own it. We need to tell it. We are the ones who've been waiting for. Again, as we all know, it takes a village to raise a child. Let's do our part. Thank you.
Thank you, my honorable. Thank you so very much. It's been a wonderful pleasure. And how do we say bye in Tswana?
Um, Gosh, now my Tswana is gone.
All right, in Swahili. Oh no, in Swahili we know. But
Kwaheri.
if you
Yeah,
in
Swahili and
Kwaheri,
Swahili. Swahili.
in Kwaheri, if you
In
want to put
Tswana,
some,
we usually say, in Tswana, we go like, it's kind of slang where we say, "Ngitakubona," like, I'll see you later. Yeah, it's actually, I'll see you later. Ngitakubona.
Kwakobona. So if you would have want to
Yeah,
say
ngitakubona.
thank you for being here and I love you all and I will see you next time. Just tell it to us in your local language.
Okay. Kiakorata, that is I love you.
Mhm.
You said I should say I love you, and then I should say I'll
You,
see you.
you,
Okay, Kiakorata. Mm-hmm. And then you say the
mhm.
other one is
No, like you just doing the summary that you did. Thank you for being here and
okay,
da.
okay, okay. Kiakorata tata kelebohile itlakobona cantlay. My son is still terrible, but I'm trying.
Thank you. I like the slanting the oh God, I love that.
Yay!
Thank you, sister. Greetings to your
You
amazing
most
family and
welcome.
to your lovely king, and tell him we do love him and our beautiful princesses. I know they're watching us. Tell them yes, we are here. That their family is out here, and all of us we do love you, and we'll see ourselves so soon in Botswana. Keep loving yourself and keep flying high. We're looking out for you. We want to copy the model and we want to multiply it everywhere that we are. We are one. NS Parker, all them, Synovia, everybody is just saying you are so beautiful. Keep that spirit up, sister. Okay, we love you so much.
Thank
Asante
you.
sana.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Yes.
Asante,
Bye.
karibu. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, dear.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
So yes, that was our sister Kim. Kimangu. And I do love all of you, those that have supported, those that have chatted, those that have contributed, questions, and everything. We love all ourselves. You know it. I don't want to be repeating myself all the time. Here. Everybody wants to hear love, 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 love. We give. We have too much of it. So thank you so much. I'm not quite sure I will be coming live tomorrow, but we're going to be premiering all the past conversations that we just have this week. Everything is going to be live tomorrow, but it's just like it's not live as you do know, because there's just a lot to do now. Catch up last minute, and yeah. NS, I love you. I love you so much. NS Parker, you say it. You're not tired of hearing it. Mwah. I love you all. Okay. Say it. You can say it. Sister Sinovia, we love them all, the mothers. Sister Veronica, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, my queen. You promise you say I'm gonna be here and you are here and you just giving us the vibe. We know that each new family is a blessing to this wonderful global, the Africa we want family here. So thank you so much. We're gonna see yourselves tomorrow, or if not, we'll be sharing a lot of vibes here. Okay, stay connected. Don't lose touch. Continue to share, continue to like, continue to tell one another. We are not selfish here on the Pan African Daily. So we know the good story. We bring one back, just like in the village. Okay, we're connecting. Bring each one on board, each one of us. So thank you. We see us tomorrow. We see us anytime again soon. Bye, bye, bye. Miaka, Beriwo, Asante Sana, Tuku Pamoja. What again should I say? Dankeschön. Okay. Merci beaucoup. We know everything. It all belongs to us. Okay. So good night. Bye. You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.